good morning, everybody. Welcome to the morning show here on Stock Market TV. A lot going on today. Let's see what's on the docket. Oh, man. Seems like everyone's talking about that super micro SMCI. What a move. All I can say, what a move. I had someone from our Portfolio Accelerator event who's in New York messaging me about it this morning. Great earnings report. We'll talk about that. Just big mover of the day. A lot of earnings. We are in the heart of it now. We, of course, have some big tech later on in the week, but, we got GM here, we got Pfizer, we got UPS, a lot going on that front. Very interesting hot corner today as well as a big name in the hot corner. We'll talk about that. Our guest is Jared Dillian, editor of the Daily Dirtnap. He also has a new book out called No Worries. Talking about that at 9 o'clock. Good morning, chat. Good morning. Let's see, Chris, Rachel, Adam, other Chris. Who we got? Hot Pepper, Diverse Insight, Yosul, Joe. What up? Hope you all having a good day so far. We got a lot going on today, so let's get this show on the road, I guess.
Hey there now, Spencer.
Hey now.
How are things? Nice little turnaround Tuesday today. Is that what's going to happen?
Market turned yesterday.
All I see, I put up a chart of the German DAX making new all-time highs, and I get people on Twitter being like, looks like a crash to me. Are you looking at it upside down, maybe? Like, what do you mean a crash? What crash, bro? Oh, it's only tech stocks, JC. Yeah? How many tech stocks are in the German DAX? I see one. There's one tech stock in the German DAX. That's what's driving the market, tech?
What do you know what the one is out of curiosity? I don't know.
Strazza knows. It's SAP, right?
Oh, good old SAP.
SAP.
Not a small one. And they were run by, oh gosh, I'm forgetting his name now. It's the guy who wears sunglasses everywhere. But he's a really great tech CEO. He ran SAP for forever. And now he's at the helm of ServiceNow, doing some really big things.
Yeah, German DAX is less than 10% tech.
Bill McDermott, I've never heard of him.
Yeah. Yep.
Me neither. Strazza knows these random CEOs from
never heard of
random companies.
He's a great CEO.
Strazza has these stories from these random people you've never heard of.
Yeah.
That's what Strazza brings to the table. That's why you keep you around, buddy. That's why you keep you around. Fun facts McGee over here, bringing in the hot takes. Also, I know we're going to get into the market in just a second, but can we talk about just kind of some of the resiliency and market breadth? Considering the stealth correction we've been in for almost 7 weeks now, market breadth has been pretty good, man. Anybody else impressed?
Breadth has been great. We just continue to see, some sectors or groups work really well while others cool off. Banks these last couple of weeks, while big tech has been working, and now it looks like back to the banks. So they just keep passing the baton back and forth to each other, which is incredibly constructive, really just what you want to see in a bull market.
When you study bull markets in the past, this passing of the baton, some of us like to call that sort of thing sector rotation. Do you see a lot of that in bull markets? Is that normal, or is that weird? Is that odd?
This would be
unsustainable. Like I'll keep being told, unsustainable, JC.
I would say it's a hallmark characteristic.
Ooh, a hallmark characteristic. Very nice. Good word there. Good word.
Every bull market is unsustainable, right? Because they all end.
Don't think too hard. It's 8:30 in the morning.
Yeah, don't think you're thinking too hard. Yeah. Right. Yeah. It ends badly by definition.
But by the way, I don't think JC was making fun of the guy when he said he always wears sunglasses. I think he was just making a comment. Chat saying Bill has an eye problem. That's why I assume that's why.
I wasn't making fun of anybody. I don't even know who the hell you're talking about.
Yeah,
listen, he's a guy. If I say he's the guy who always has sunglasses on, some people might know who I'm talking about.
I
didn't say he had a problem. Didn't have a problem.
For example, Ab Soul is a rapper from Compton. he always has to wear sunglasses because he's got like this like eye disease thing too.
Yeah,
They might have the same thing.
That's pretty common. I think
He raps about it.
I think like Anna Wintour has that too.
Absolutely, his raps are very depressing.
Yeah. Anyway, okay.
Oh no.
Let's
His
run this.
girlfriend died in high school. Like all his songs are just very sad.
Can we talk about something happy?
Yeah. I don't know how we got on this. I'm sorry. My fault.
Like cryptos?
My fault.
Is that happiness? Is that crypto happiness? Why don't you hit that bumper there, Spencer?
Yeah, my fault.
All right. Nice little Tuesday happening here in the old markets. And Dow futures are down about 90 points. It's about 20 basis points. S&P's down 10 handles, about the same, 20 basis points. NASDAQ futures down about the same. That's about 45 handles. That'll get you down 20, 25 basis points. Bond futures up slightly on the 30-year, about 36 bips. Silver flat, copper flat, gold flat. Oil down 1%. And the dollar's slipping this morning. His interest rates also down back below 4.1%, with the VIX still hanging in there just below 14 for the S&P Volatility Index. And then Strazza, if you will be so kind, tell us what is it that brings you so much joy. Solana back above 100, right around 104, up 2.5% on the day. Bitcoin flat on the day, right around 43,200. And Ethereum hanging out right around 2,300, flat on the day as well. What is it about all of this that makes you so happy? The fact that you own a ton of Solana and it is doing the best?
So leaders lead, right? So you want to see Solana resolve its little consolidation that began in December, resolve it to the upside, and kick off a new leg higher. You want to see that if we're entering a new rally phase for the whole space, and you are. Throw up the chart, Spencer. It's the same chart as yesterday. We talked about if this happens, right? The kinds of things that we will see if we're entering a new rally phase for cryptos. We're starting to see them. The Solana chart.
Yeah, I'm digging through yesterday's deck. Give me a
No,
second.
I just dropped it to you.
Oh, you did? Oh, there it is. Okay, cool. Yeah.
What about the Bitcoin dominance picking up? That doesn't, you don't care about that?
No, I don't think too much about that.
All right.
I want to see breakouts. I want to see breakouts that look like this. A little oops, a little scoop and rally. VWAP's being reclaimed. That's it. So, we talked about a handful of others. And Solana really is the first one that we could talk about that looks like this. And now we got to see that list start to grow in the coming days. That's it. That's all I got. Just want to update on yesterday.
I'm being told, Strazza,
by
the infinite wisdom that you'll find in the old Twitterati, that it's only tech stocks that are going up. It's only tech, JC. It's the only sector that's above last year's highs. But if you go and take the time to count...
No, it's not.
It's not true. If it's only tech, then why don't you throw up slide 2? If it's only tech that's driving this market higher, then how come the biggest bellwether in industrials is making new all-time highs and the biggest bellwether in financials is making new all-time highs? Why do you think that is?
We added to our bank exposure yesterday. This JPM repair move here had a lot to do with that.
If it's only technology stocks that are working and small cap stocks are not working, go to the next slide there, Spencer. How come small cap industrials are making new all-time highs? Maybe your small cap stocks aren't working, but small cap stocks are most definitely working. A lot of them are. A lot of them. Like so many. And there are so many small cap stocks working that if you would actually go and take the time to count how many are working, it's taking you a lot longer to count that list today than it did several months ago and several months before that. It's almost as if the list of small cap stocks working keeps getting longer. Almost, huh? Almost.
Do you guys have stats in terms of as far as like the length of time of like these of like rotations from large cap to mid cap to small cap? to middle
Years.
cap to large
Years
cap.
is the answer.
Mhm.
Why don't you go to the next slide?
And it's always different. It's not one of those relationships
Yeah.
that's consistent in bull or bear markets.
All right, so this is the one, right? These are a bunch of major indexes relative to where they are, relative to a variety of different moving averages, right? So on the y-axis, you've got the S&P, NASDAQ Composite, New York Stock Exchange, Russell 3000, Dow Jones Industrial Average, Russell 2000 small caps, and the Value Line Geometric Index representing the median stock. On the y-axis, of course, you've got a variety of moving averages and where each of these indexes fall relative to where those smoothing mechanisms are. 5-day, 10-day, 20, 50, 100, 150, 200, and 250-day moving average. The smoothing gets further out as you move over to the right.
I mean,
in bull markets, so if it's green, the index is above that moving average. If it's red, it's below.
but this is also just, again, it's really nice visual, all green. Again, that's lovely. Also,
Well, hold on. In bull markets, historically, when you go back,
these tables will be green.
Right.
I'm
back.
Can I finish your thought for you? In bull markets, these tables tend to be very green, particularly when not just the primary trend is higher, but in this market, even the intermediate and really the tactical trend is higher. And then you get, 2 weeks of gains. They should all be green.
I mean, it's simpler than that. In bull markets, you have a lot of green on these tables, like a lot of green.
Right. Okay. Fine.
And because lines go up, in bear markets, you have a lot of red in these markets because in bear markets, stocks go down for a while, they trend lower, the smoothing mechanisms are falling, prices are below these smoothing mechanisms. Like that's just what you see in bear markets. Like we're just not seeing that, right?
Well, let's talk about sort of that stealth correction you mentioned, and Ravi in the chat brought this up. Where was the comment? I thought JC said they're starting to get defensive a little bit. So, and that's true. We've said
Who's
that.
they? Who's getting defensive?
No, you didn't say it today. But in the last couple of weeks, we were sort of posing the hypothetical, like what would it take, right, to get and we had that one.
I'm still in the camp that we're in the 7th week of this correction. We're in the midst of a stealth correction that you've seen since the new highs list peaked in mid-December. We're almost in February.
I don't know. I think it's just about coming to an end, buddy.
Maybe that's possible.
Yeah.
I think like I always like to say, every major correction starts out with a small correction, right? But not every small correction turns into a major correction. So while we've seen this stealth correction, the question is, what would the market have to do to prove to us that maybe a more severe correction is underway or due?
Yeah.
And that's where the Fab Five come into play, right? That's broker dealers index, industrials, semis, tech, and homies.
Well, that's what you also would, for a few days there, we were talking about that staples chart, the staples relative, right?
Well, some of those divergences where you've seen dollar strength during this rally all month long. You've seen consumer discretionaries on both a cap weighted and equally weighted basis underperforming staples. You have some divergences out there, most definitely.
Yeah.
During this correction, again, which makes sense. The question is this just a normal stealth correction that we see all the time in bull markets, or is this going to turn into something more severe? My argument has been, if it's going to turn into something more severe, you're going to see failures in those Fab Five. What did I call them? The 5 before the nosedive, I think I called them, right?
You might need a better line in the sand eventually because they're just running away from these levels.
Wow, that's information, Strazza. Isn't that information?
So, yeah, I think, and I get it. I love the Fab Five. I love what you've done there. When we talk about this stealth correction ending, right? How am I going to know it ends looking at the tape during the day? The groups that stopped working, the groups that were in the lower right quadrant of this bubble chart that we talked about last week and been talking about, right? The ones that haven't been participating during the corrective phase since breath peaked on December 14th, those groups will start working again. Not just start working, but start leading, start repairing some of the damage, right, that took place over the past month or month and change, 6 weeks now. ARC, IWM, micro cap, small cap growth. Look at all those indexes yesterday. Go look at what the best stocks were yesterday. It's all your speculative growth names, right? A huge move.
Ooh, is that
these
is
indexes.
that foreshadowing for
No, I
the
just
hot
think-
corner? A little hot corner foreshadowing, maybe? Is that a little drip? Little drip?
Maybe.
You get follow through on those moves today. You get more follow through, over tactical time frame, and some of these bases go again. That's it. Correction over. You get that rotation back into these spaces that actually led back in October, November, December, but just gave a little bit too much back over the past month and a half. So yesterday was a big move. ARC was up. Look, 4.7% yesterday. It's ARC, so that happens sometimes, but it's a big.
I was going to say, it sounds like a pretty normal day in the world of ARC.
Listen, beneath the surface, some of these things are really starting to perk up.
Well, it's funny because, we're getting back into banks. Some of us got stopped out of some of these positions, adding to those positions that we already have.
Yeah.
And isn't that, and then biotech's hell of a day yesterday, up 3%. So Spencer, can you throw up slide 7, please?
Sean and I had a great conversation on the Flow Show yesterday about, his hesitancy when he gets stopped out of something, he likes to just throw it out and move on. I'm the complete opposite. I like to get stopped out like 3 times before a trade works for me. It's just what happens.
The revenge trade.
No. There's a difference.
Oh, okay.
And anybody who follows me and listens to, I'm brutally honest about this. When we were talking about Coinbase with our friends in the compound and friends a year ago, it's like, yeah, I got stopped out, but I'll be back in. Trust me. And it was one of my best trades. It was my best trade last year.
Yeah, Spencer, revenge trade is, when you're losing money and then you put on a new trade and you double that position size and then you lose money and then you quadruple that position size and you go on tilt. That's more revenge trading.
Okay.
Right? What he's doing is he's getting stopped out, then it's getting back above his level, so he's forced to get back in. I've actually had this conversation with traders over many, many years, trying to find the optimal number of times that you get back in, or at what point do you just listen to the market and be like, this is just not meant to be. I'm going to move on, right? Like, how many times is too many? The sweet spot tends to be between 3 and 4 is the sweet spot answer, by the way.
I've been there. And it's a lot. And it gets weird mentally. I think it's also, you have to know who you are as a trader. And some people probably should just stay away from it because you're losing. You're reminding yourself that you're losing. You're sticking with these losers. I don't know. It could do something to you. I don't think twice about it. So it works for me. Bottom line is, if you look at a chart of Wells Fargo, I'm glad we got stopped out. Look at a chart of KeyCorp. Glad we got stopped out. But look at them now. And think back to the conversation we were having 5 minutes ago. Big cap tech, mega cap tech, all the growth leaders from last year kicked off this year for us, right? Big moves. They've been littered all over the new highs list. Stuff like banks and ARC stocks have really cooled off, given some back. The banks are ready to catch another rotational wave. No? So I think you take another shot. So put a couple bank trades on yesterday. Let's see.
All right, well, JC, what was on this chart?
Honestly, I think this is the chart of the day. If it was up to me to decide what the best chart on a given day is, I didn't see a better chart than this yesterday. Did you, Strazza?
Yeah, it's good. Tell us what's going on here. What are you doing here with these 3 indexes? Why?
Honestly, I don't mean to toot my own horn. I don't have to toot my own horn. I'm good.
He doesn't mean it, Spencer. At least he doesn't mean it.
I legitimately think this is one hell of a chart.
Wow.
One hell of a chart. Give it up for JC there. Give it up. Here we're looking at the Russell 2000. You may have heard of it. It's a small cap index.
Yeah.
It has an ETF IWM. And this Russell 2000 index has approximately 2,000 stocks, roughly, give or take. 228 of those are banks. I can't imagine why we need so many banks, but hey, the Canadians are looking down, laughing at us, Strazza. The Canadians are laughing away. And laugh away up there, folks. We love you. We love you for it. Laugh away. It is a joke. It's a fucking joke.
I mean, they have just as many gold miners, so.
Oh, touche. You had to go there? You had to go there. Low blow to the Canadians. I was giving them some props, giving them some credit. Strazza just sticks it to them. All right. Russell 2000 components, about 2,000 of them roughly. 228 of them are banks. 251 of them are biotechs. If you think that the Russell 2000 is going to go higher, maybe those bank stocks and biotech stocks getting going will probably help, right?
For sure.
So if you think that the Russell 2000 underperforming means the market has weak breath, you're an idiot. It's really a function of banks and biotechs. Small cap industrials, small cap technology, small cap consumer discretionary, all have been outperforming the S&P 500 this entire bull market, right? So if you're specifically interested in the Russell 2000 versus just making money in the market, which some people are just obsessed with this index for whatever reason, I'm more interested in making money in the market. But if you have a thing for the Russell 2000, maybe these two industry groups should be front and center. What do you think there, Mr. Strazza?
Totally agree. Could not agree more. And these are two of the groups just talking about leaders during the Q4 rally. Banks have given back, maybe a little bit more. Biotechs have really held in nicely, though. Biotechs have been really resilient. And this leads to that hot corner conversation, too.
Ooh, wow. Another hot corner foreshadowing moment already.
That's two.
That's two.
Way fast.
This better be good. It better be hot.
It is an unusual hot corner, I think. So
I already looked at it because I cheated.
Yeah, we all did.
I get the email. And if you don't get the email and you wonder what we're talking about, I hope you feel the FOMO. I hope you feel it. I hope you feel it, the burn deep down inside your stomach.
The link to get the hot corner, by the way, is if you just go to scroll down like 2 scrolls on YouTube, and there's a little description box there. There's a link in there to get the hot corner. Just so everyone knows.
Hey,
look at Mark guessing. Did Baker Bros file again? Clearly, Mark is not getting the hot corner. It's very unfortunate for you. The FOMO must be overwhelming, Mark. Shout out, Mark, by the way.
Waiting for another Baker Bros. Think we do see it eventually, but nope, that's not it today.
Before we bring in Jared, Mr. Israel, you make it seem like there's so much news. There's so much going on. I see a big nothing burger in the market this morning. Tell me what is so exciting that the market doesn't give a shit about it.
I think people give a shit about Supermicro Computers, SMCI.
Tell me why this is such a big deal.
Well, this is pretty interesting what they did here. I don't know if I've ever seen this before, maybe once or twice. So 2 weeks ago, SMCI comes out just out of the blue and raises their guidance for last quarter. They basically just raised their expectations for last quarter. They're like, we're not reporting earnings. We're just saying we're pre-reporting. We're saying last quarter was probably really good. We're just going to let you guys know that now. And the market's like, oh, okay, that's interesting. So that was 2 weeks ago. So then last night, they actually report earnings for real, and they come in above their own estimates from 2 weeks ago. So anyway, yeah.
Are you asking me, or are you just throwing out a statement?
No.
You're asking how unusual that is.
Oh, I mean, I'm saying it's unusual. I guess if you want
slide one. It's slide one, by the way.
No, it's really not, especially when the business is changing this much, right? Like,
why is the business changing this much?
These companies are growing so fast. This is an AI name. They're selling AI things. They're a part of the whole new thing now. So they're just doing their best.
So they're not making these microcomputers. Like when I hear super microcomputer, I think about that scene. What is this? A school for ants? Like if they make like these like small computers.
Hold on. Especially the year-over-year growth was something astronomical. I overheard it. I read some
100% year-over-year sales growth.
But so again, it wouldn't be normal to do something like that, drop a presser 2 weeks before earnings in a normal course of business, but 100% year-over-year. Analysts don't know where to put this thing. They're just trying to help people. So yeah, it's not. Good for them. They crushed it. Huge quarter.
Yeah, huge quarter. Earnings, sales, all of it. And then of course they're raising their guidance now. So, the chart speaks for itself. I mean, 100 to We're at 500 this morning, right?
You know what's really cool? Because everybody wanted these lists this time last year.
Yep.
Top AI names.
Yep.
And we came on here. It's really just a mega cap growth because you didn't know, right? You didn't. I could have told you, yeah, it's a super micro or Aristonet, right? I could have thrown them out, but we didn't know in Q1 of last year. Now some of these come. ServiceNow, wow. Talk about an AI name. We now know we got 4 quarters in the books since this whole thing erupted and took off, and NVIDIA opened the gates for everybody last year. We kind of know now who like the purest AI plays are. And Supermicro's towards the top of that list for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, Josh, definitely not illegal. More so just the company just, I guess, saying, hey, you know what, didn't...
No, you know what this is, Spencer? You know what this is? I'll tell you what this is.
I think NVIDIA did this like a year ago.
Let me tell you guys what this is.
This not illegal at all. This happens. Tesla does this all the time.
Listen, kids, you'll appreciate this. This is like when you're dribbling down the court and you kind of pick up your dribble and you got nowhere to go with it. So you just throw it off the backboard and then you come in and you slam it down like you throw yourself an alley-oop. That's what they did. They like threw themselves an alley-oop and then they slammed it down, right?
Yeah.
Kind of like that.
Yeah.
Not illegal. Kind of, but not really.
That's more or less what just happened.
Can we just real quick talk so that everybody knows what's the earnings calendar looking like this week? Like, what are these big guys coming out?
You want to see?
This is the week, right? Like, let's hit that.
I got it right here.
This is the week of all earnings weeks.
Yeah, this calendar scratches the surface. There's, I don't know, several hundred reports this week, maybe more than that. There's hundreds of reports a day. So obviously really it starts tonight, really, because usually Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday are the big days. So we got Microsoft, we got Alphabet, we got AMD. For those of you who care about non-tech companies, we have Starbucks, Mondelez, Chubb. Tomorrow, not as much tech, but big names like MasterCard, Boston Scientific, right? Boeing, Qualcomm, and then of course Thursday is the big day after the close. Apple, Amazon, Meta. So big day. Then a lot of oil and gas on Friday. So big week for earnings. This is the week.
AMD.
Yep. So this morning, watching GM had a pretty good quarter. The bar was pretty low for them. I think the market expected for them to say that obviously EV sales have been dragging hard, and that's exactly what they said. So the stock is up. At least it was last I checked.
What's going on with these Nucor earnings?
With Nucor earnings, I actually did not look at Nucor this morning. Let's see.
This is a big one.
Let's see. The sales, slight beat. EPS, nice beat. Okay, they're guiding for earnings to increase sequentially. Okay, cool. What's the stock doing?
Stock's up 1% or so.
Yeah.
Listen, this is for a basic materials company. This is a $44-45 billion steel stock.
Bellwether, secular leader.
Yeah, I mean, the steel stocks don't get that big, right? So this is huge for a steel stock. So I think it's also something important to put in perspective. People are like, well, it's only 7 stocks that are driving the S&P, Jay-Z, the S&P 493 or whatever the serial killers are saying these days.
Well,
Nucor is never going to drive S&P 500 returns. It doesn't mean that steel stocks and basic material stocks are not important. They're just not, like, if you use Standard & Poor's formula as some sort of like satanic religion or something like that, then maybe. But for us normal folks who are just here to make money, also using common sense, these steel stocks are very important to the stock market.
Wow.
It might not influence the S&P 500, right? But let's be serious. So here we are making new all-time highs. Throw up slide 2, Spencer.
Is that the largest steel stock? I didn't realize how large that was compared to the other ones.
Dude, there's Freeport, right? When it comes to metals, you look at the Freeport chart, and then you pull up Nucor next.
Yeah, I just didn't realize how much larger it was than.
What about like Rio? But you got some of these international names too, like Rio.
I don't care
right?
about.
So Rio's 115.
They do too much. They
But
do too much.
they do a lot. Yeah, not too much. They just do more things. It's less of a steel pure play, to Strazza's point.
They're strapped with debt. Those companies, they're not the best. Nucor also
Wow,
is
did he just
leader.
throw out the debt there?
Those companies are trouble. So we keep asking ourselves, just like you're talking about biotechs and banks, I'm talking about speculative growth stocks. When are these metals and mining stocks, these material stocks, going to catch some of these rotational tailwinds, take on a leadership role? Well, I can tell you when that does happen, the leaders will be leading. A stock like Nucor that looks like this will be breaking out. My chart shows that consolidation a little nicer if you want to show. It's that 175 level, and it's just knocking on the door right now. It's tested this level several times over the past few years. Nucor would be a big feather in the hat for commodity stock bulls. I don't think most of those groups are ready yet. And we've dabbled a little bit with some of these materials names, material subgroups. Not at the top of my list, places I want to go fishing right now.
All right, let's bring on today's guest, Jared Dillian, editor of the Daily Dirtnap, also author of the new book, No Worries.
Good.
Talk about that. So we'll bring him on right now.
Jay, we've been friends for a long time. Make the call.
I mean, this is pretty professional, guys.
Nice show you got going here.
So, Jared,
Hey.
what's going on, my man? I was just talking about you with Stephen McBride.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I had lunch with him in New York.
Yep.
Yeah.
I had a couple of beverages with him. He's a good egg. I hung out with him in Dublin a few years back.
Yep. I didn't realize how young he was. I thought he was like 35, 36. He's only 30. He's 30 years old.
You know, he just sounds with the accent. He's a good writer, and then when that voice, it's just right. It makes him sound smarter. Maybe for us gringos over here, right?
Yeah, present company accepted.
Yeah. So, Jared, congratulations on the new book, man.
Thanks. I got it right here. No Worries: How to Live a Stress-Free Financial Life. You can get it.
Can we
anywhere.
flip it? Can we flip the?
Yeah.
There we go.
Well, how's that? That's better.
Yeah, even better. First of all, I love the cover. Do you get credit for that or no?
No, the cover designer at Harriman House is a guy named Chris Parker, and he's a genius. This was a slam dunk. So great cover.
So good.
Yeah.
You and me aren't that creative to come up with shit like this. It's so good.
There's probably a ton of science, like psychology and science, that goes into designing book covers, I would imagine.
I skipped that class in college.
Yeah.
Well, a cover is less important than it used to be. I mean, back, 20, 30 years ago, when you bought a book in a store, like you'd see a book and the cover would catch your eye.
Yeah.
And you would pick it up and buy it. But now 90% of books are sold on Amazon. So
That's true.
It matters less.
That's true. All right. So how to live a stress-free financial life.
Yeah, Jared, I was going to say, why don't you just tell me so I don't have to read it? Just kidding. No, give me the bullet points. Like how do I live a stress-free financial life? How do I do it? Just make a ton of money so I don't have to worry anymore?
No, it's not really a function of money. I mean, a guy like Elon Musk is the richest guy in the world, and he has financial stress.
Fair.
It's really about how you structure your life. And the two activators of financial stress are debt and risk. If you have a lot of debt, it's going to cause you stress. If you have a lot of risk in the financial markets, it's going to cause you stress. Those are the two sources of financial stress. If you minimize debt and risk, you won't have any stress. The other part of this is, we have like big personal finance in this country. We have Dave Ramsey and Susie Orman and Kiyosaki and all these people. And they all generally say the same thing, which is that it's a million small decisions that determine whether you have money. It's whether you buy coffee at Dunkin' Donuts. It's whether you get expensive TV dinners at the store, fill in the blank. It's none of those things. It's not a million small decisions. It's a few big decisions. So if you get the house right, the car right, the student loans right, you really don't have to worry about this pointless austerity and clipping coupons and all this nonsense that people do in order to save money, because it doesn't matter. The stuff that matters is the big things. It's the house, the car, and the student loans.
How'd you get the idea for this?
This was a lot of thinking that I was doing. 2019 to 2021, I had a radio show, which was a personal finance radio show, and it wasn't a very popular show. People could call in, but there was a lot of nights when nobody called in, and it would just be me talking into a microphone for 2 hours. And if you talk to yourself for 2 years every night, you start to get some ideas. The calls that I did get really had a lot of common themes. Is that people were stressed out about insignificant amounts of money, but they were ignoring the big things. And that really became the overriding theme for this book. So the book, by the way, this is unbelievable. It has 280 reviews on Amazon in a week, and 274 of them are 5-star. And I did not rig this. I did not tell people to leave 5-star reviews. This has happened organically. This is an amazing book, and it's going bananas. So
good for you, Jared. Good for you. We'll put the link to where to buy that in the show notes, and then whether you like it or not, give it a 5-star review anyway. Now, I'm looking forward to reading it myself. Thank you so much. That is a book called No Worries. So many songs come to mind, like Bob Marley stuff, like just when I hear that, which I love, by the way. Jared, one of the things that I've always found fascinating about you is you're always trying to gauge market sentiment. Where's the crowd? Where's the pain? Where's the pain trade? Like, where is there too much extreme positioning? Right? You find yourself thinking about that a lot, or is it just my?
Oh, yeah, that's my whole MO. That's what I do. Yeah, and I do. I don't get it 100% right all the time. I'm not getting it right now. But
why? Why? Tell me. Explain that. Why? What do you mean?
Well, I before I came on, I was in the green room, I guess, and I saw you guys posting a lot of charts. I saw a chart of Nucor and some other charts, and all these charts look the same. Like 3 months ago, they went vertical. And not every chart, but most charts in the S&P 500 looks like this. And it really started when we got that pivot out of the Fed, when Fed Governor Christopher Waller came and said that we were going to be pricing in rate cuts this year. And that, the Fed hasn't cut rates yet. They probably will sometime this year, but that induced this liquidity fueled rally that took everything higher. And the market's up 20% in like 3 months. It's one of the most impulsive rallies of all time. And now nobody, when the S&P was at 4150, nobody was bullish, and now everybody is bullish. So I take note of that.
Is everybody bullish?
I think we are approaching bullish consensus in the market for sure. So, it's funny. One of the stocks I'm short is Blackstone. And you can pull up the chart if you want, but my thesis on Blackstone is that first of all, it's a financial company that is trading at 54 times earnings, has 150 billion market cap. It's bigger than Goldman Sachs. It's bigger than Morgan Stanley. I like to talk about the market cap game. You just sort of eyeball market caps of companies, and this doesn't make any sense. So, and when I think about private equity, I think back to the hedge fund world in the 2000s when everybody wanted to work at a hedge fund. And I was at Lehman. I was running the ETF desk at Lehman, and I was having a lot of client events with hedge fund guys. And I noticed that the quality of these people was going down over time as this industry was attracting more and more imitators. And private equity is the same thing. Like there's just an enormous amount of private equity firms. It's magic beans. And I think it's I think it's a short. So
yeah, I just pulled it up here. It might be a short, but in my opinion, if you're shorting Blackstone, you're just shorting capital markets, which have been some of the strongest stocks out there. To me, it's more of a function of the strength in the group of asset managers and capital markets in general, more so than Blackstone specific. That's my take on that. Mm-hmm. Do you think that this diverges and capital market stocks keep doing so well and Blackstone doesn't?
Yeah, I do think it diverges. By the way, tomorrow we have the results of the Fed meeting, and
Mhm.
it's what's interesting is that we've priced in 6 or 7 rate cuts this year, which I don't necessarily disagree with. The rates market has a pretty good track record of sniffing out rate cuts, but the Fed watches the stock market. Stocks are up 20% in 3 months. I have a sense that the March rate cut is not going to be a sure thing at tomorrow's Fed meeting. I think it's going to be a hawkish meeting, and I think we're going to get a reversal of about 6 to 8% in the stock market. I
Wow.
mean, just if you're a technician, I mean, you would call that a healthy correction. We haven't had a correction in 3 months of any magnitude.
Yeah, I
You
would
know,
argue we've been in a correction I've been arguing we've been in a correction since mid-December. A stealth correction underneath the surface,
Not
as the
in
new,
the, not in
the
the
new,
indexes, right?
yeah, but it's a market of stocks. The indexes only tell you,
I'm
the indexes really
clarifying.
mislead most investors. When you look underneath the surface, the new highs list peaked in mid-December. That was almost 7 weeks ago. So we've been in the midst of a stealth correction. My question is not
you're
my
saying that breadth is going down, is what you're saying.
my it's been a stealth correction underneath the surface as stocks have corrected. Some of the indexes have continued higher. Some indexes have corrected as well, but the stocks themselves. My question is that stealth correction a heads up of a further correction that the indexes will then follow down, right? Because we're seeing divergences in discretionaries relative to staples on both an equally weighted and cap weighted basis. We've seen strength in the dollar as emerging market currencies have been struggling hard over the last 6, 7 weeks. So we've seen evidence of digestion, of consolidation, of correcting. The question is this just going to be a stealth correction like we see so often in bull markets, and then we move higher? Or is this a heads up of something more severe like what you're suggesting? I'm open-minded to either, but I have to see it, right? We're just not seeing it yet.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Right, because
Well,
the
I
new
don't.
highs list, remember, the new highs list peaked in mid-December.
I don't. I don't. I'm not dogmatic. I don't have any super strong views about anything.
That's
I tell
why
you what. If
that's by the
this,
way, that's why we invite you here, Jared.
if this thesis doesn't play out tomorrow, then I'm going to cover and move on with my life. We
That was my.
probably have more upside. So that's the way I look at it.
Look at side 3. This is what I'm describing. I mean, there's a lot of ways to skin this cat, but this is how I see it. So just on a variety of different time horizons, new 1 month highs, 3 month highs, 52-week highs, right? All deteriorating over the last 6, 7 weeks as markets have digested those gains. If you recall, Jared, which I know you do because you're a keen observer of markets, we had historic market breadth and participation, and the breadth thrust that we saw in December is something we hadn't seen in years. Now, historically, when you zoom out, that's early cycle behavior. You see that early in bull markets. But in the short term, historically, that does lead to some corrective action, to your point. My question is this the corrective action, or is this just the beginning of the corrective action? That's my question.
How much how much attention do you pay to MACD?
None.
None at all, because you don't like it, or you just don't look at it?
I mean, it's a nice momentum indicator. There's nothing wrong with it. I know smart people that use it. I don't completely ignore it. I guess every now and then it comes up in conversation, but it's definitely not anything that I pay too much attention to. In fact, anything that's not price is so far down the list of importance to me, right? Because price pays, and then everything else is just a supplement to that. So
See,
whether
one of the things I'm looking at is a big divergence in MACD between price and the oscillator. We've made a small new higher high in the index, and
which
we're
index,
making lower highs, S&P, and lower highs in MACD.
and this
I don't
is
know
on
if
a
you guys can
daily
pull
or a
that up.
weekly time frame.
Daily.
Well, I'm looking at the S&P 500. I'm looking at RSI and MACD both heading higher. So if we haven't peaked yet, how do you know it's a lower high?
Well, so I'll tell you what I generally do when I'm doing mean reversion stuff is I combine the mark with MACD. So if I get a DeMarc signal of a 13 or a 9 combined with a MACD divergence, that has a very high hit rate, So maybe next time I come on, I'll bring some of my own charts and you can post them. You can take a
No,
look.
I love that. Please do, Jared.
Yeah.
Big fans of yours. Love this conversation. I feel bad. I have to tell the story. So we were with DeMarc years ago, and he was like getting some like lifetime achievement award or something like that. I had a few too many, so I'm hanging out with a bunch of old timer technicians, like old schooler guys. And Tom DeMarc, big fan of his. I'm not hating. Tom DeMarc tripped over the stage and fell. And literally right on the moment, I was like, oh, must have been a 13. Dude, I had these old timers were shitting themselves laughing so hard. And I still feel a little bit guilty about it because, like, when I'm an old, clumsy old man, you know what? The hell with it. When I'm an old man falling all over myself, make fun of me. It's all good. It's all good fun. Couldn't help myself, Jared. I couldn't help myself. Let me ask you this. So from a shorting perspective, right? So you're shorting, one of the strongest groups in one of the strongest sectors. Remember, financials were the best performing sector in the back half of last year and continuing to be one of the best performers so far in 24. So you're shorting one of the best groups. How are you thinking about this shorting? Are you thinking that these best groups have gone too far and you're looking for that mean reversion? And why are you choosing that versus looking to short weakness? And the ones
No,
not
I mean,
participating?
so first of all, that's usually what I do. I short the stocks with the best narratives, and I buy the stocks with the worst narratives.
Does Blackstone have a good narrative? I don't know the narrative, so I wouldn't.
So what's funny is that there was an article yesterday on Bloomberg that said that Blackstone has funded 25 billion worth of AI servers. And I'm like, great, now it's an AI stock. You know what I mean? So
what is it these days?
So, but my thesis is that for any stock, the bull case is always most compelling on the highs, and the bear case is always most compelling on the lows.
Sure.
So, when if you're shorting a stock in an uptrend, I mean, really what I think about is sentiment and narrative. And what I look for is that consensus. Here's another one. Tony Robbins is coming out with a book in a couple of months about private equity. And the title is The Holy Grail. He's calling private equity the Holy Grail. And he has started a firm, or he's working with a firm. I don't remember the details, but he's working with a firm that is helping retail investors pool their funds and invest in private equity. I mean, these are not the sorts of things you see at the bottom.
That's definitely going to end well, Jared.
Yeah.
There's definitely not going to be any lawsuits or anything. Oh, you can't even make this shit up, Jared. A guy like yourself, I see the gray hairs up there. You've seen a few cycles, right? Like this, it's comedy, isn't it? It's just, you can't make this shit up.
I'm going to be 50 in March.
You look good, though. You lost some LBs. I've seen you.
Yeah, thanks. Yep.
Yeah, kudos to you. Throw the book up there one more time. Jared's new book. Everybody go get it. It's called No Worries, which honestly, that might be one of the greatest names for a book ever. Like, that is such a great name. Like, I hate to keep like giving you so much kudos. I wish I could be breaking your balls more, but that is a great name, great cover. Well done across the board. Well done.
Right. No Worries, How to Live a Stress-Free Financial Life. Jared Dillian, thanks for coming on the show today, man.
Great being on. Thanks for having me. I'll talk to you guys soon.
Thanks, Jared. Appreciate it, buddy.
See ya.
Adios. That was cool.
Yeah, good stuff. I will be adding this to the list of books that I will try to get through for summer reading. Summer reading is that's when I do most.
Summer reading, it's January, bro.
No, I know, but I do most of my reading in like the warmer months because
what hemisphere are you in?
You go to the beach, you read all day, so I do a lot of my reading, June, July, August. So
how much time you spending at the beach?
Well, there's at least 1 week every year, and then a couple of day trips, right? So, I can get a lot done in.
What about on your walks? You go on your walks? You listen to some audiobooks?
I'm a podcast guy. I'm not an audiobook guy. I guess I could try it. I've never tried it before.
I like the audiobooks. I do. I like the audiobooks. Sometimes I'm just like, what am I listening to right now? Like some of these audiobooks I got, it's like on a whole nother level.
I have too many podcasts. I'm always way behind, so I don't know if I have time for audiobooks. But plus I like real books. I like holding a physical book. I have a Kindle that I got years ago for free, and I've never even used it. So I don't know.
Can I make a confession?
Yeah.
Strazza in the green room. Bring him in here so he can hear
Yeah,
this.
he's around.
I have a confession to make.
His camera's off. What's up?
You ready for this?
Yeah.
My confession, which is the opposite of making your own coffee at home, and I buy the actual book and the audiobook.
Yeah.
And I do both. Because sometimes I'm doing things and I can't read the book, and then sometimes I'm sitting there and can read the book, but I want to not have to make a choice.
Also,
I want to keep reading the book and not have to be like, oh shit, I can't read the book because I have to go exercise or go drive somewhere, you know?
That's fair.
It becomes a pain because you're constantly trying to catch your audio book up with where you are on the normal book, though.
Oh, that's not that hard. You get good at it after. Yeah, it's not that hard. It's chapters. It's not that big of a deal.
And another reason
there's this thing in the beginning of each book called the table of contents, right? Where it just breaks it down by chapters. You should check it out. It's really helpful.
So, probably reading more fiction than you, I would imagine.
I don't read any fiction.
Right. Yeah. So for fiction,
0.0 fiction.
The audiobooks.
I'm not proud of, by the way. I'm not proud of that. But I have 3 kids, so I don't have time for fiction.
A lot of the books that you and I read, I know, they come with pictures. Come with lots of pictures. So the audiobooks don't get you done with the real
these days.
books.
I'm not reading a lot of books with pictures these days.
There's a lot of charts in a lot of the books I read, is all I'm saying.
I'm not reading technical analysis books, bro. I got enough technical analysis. I'm good. I'm not reading technical analysis books.
You should be, because you're just you need to. Every few years you got to read the same books over and over again.
You want me to show you what I'm reading?
I was reading John Murphy on the plane.
You want me to show you what I'm reading? You're going to be, I don't know if you're going to be proud or ashamed. Hold on. Let me show you what I'm reading. Hold on.
What? You just, okay. My book is right over there. I'm not going to reach for it, though. It's too far. But yeah. Anyway. Okay. We're going to sit here and wait in silence.
I guess we're just going
to wait.
So,
oh, wow. That's a read.
That's what I'm reading.
And
you know what? And I got Ben Graham. I got the Graham and Dodd book downstairs in my gym.
Wait,
in between sets when I'm lifting, putting up 260 these days. By the way,
wait,
these guys on these late night spaces are really getting in JC's head. He's out here reading Ben Graham.
Intelligent investor, closet technician.
You're not reading that, are you? Really?
I've already read it. First of all,
the Bible fundamental analysis.
Yeah. He's a closet technician.
It's a boring ass
you
book,
would know.
We're in college.
Yeah, I've tried and failed. I'm not going.
Look here, chapter 2. Chapter 2 here. The money illusion. That's not technical analysis. I don't know what is. There's so much technical analysis in this book.
I don't know what to say to that. All right. 9:25 here. Couple other things I wanted to just mention quickly. Vertex VRTX has had a wild pre-market session here. They had some phase 3 data.
Chapter 1, investment versus speculation.
Okay.
What do you think that is? You think that's fundamental analysis? Dude, this bastard's talking about technicals the whole book.
I don't know. It's a chapter title.
Let Spencer do his job and give the news. No, that's not.
I like it when the fundamental guys come at me. I'm like, bro, I'll teach you fundamental analysis.
Please hit me with some of this news here today. I'm flying naked here without one of my data providers.
We got some phase 3 data from Vertex on a non-addictive pain reducer. They ran 2 randomized studies of about 2,100 patients and found that their drug did statistically significantly reduce pain. So we still have to get FDA approval, but if you just look at the pre-market action in this chart, VRTX, wild session. So a lot of, and stocks at an all-time high. So a lot of Wall Street interest there in Vertex. I mentioned a few of the other earnings reports that were on my mind. We had GM this morning, which was trading higher on what was admittedly it was a fun report. The EPS beat, the sales beat, the guidance was within a quite large range, but whatever. They also announced that they paid they took some heavy charges last quarter because of the strike and because of not selling EVs, and there was a settlement that they had to pay out. So, but anyway, all things considered, GM, not a bad report. Stock is trading higher on that. UPS, weak guidance. I think that was the story there. Stock is down this morning. What are we down now on UPS? Yeah, still down, but a little bit off the lows, but not really. So, okay. UPS, it was a sales miss. They're raising their dividend by a penny. Who cares about that? And light guidance for UPS. Interesting story there. What else? Oh, the big disaster of the day is Calix, CALX. They're like a telecom, right? Equipment, something like that. I'm not quite sure, honestly. Stock down 23% this morning on their very light guidance for them. Very light earnings per share and revenue guidance for Calix. So CALX is your big loser. Malibu Boats, very small stock below JC's line. Also a big loser of the day, down about 15% on their report. And what else did I have? No, that's kind of it. Yeah, I don't know.
You don't want to do the Pindodo?
Oh, PDD. Yeah, you know me. PDD Holdings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Do you have the chart here? Where is it?
Did I drop it in?
Yeah, you did somewhere. I think I'll find it. There it is. All right.
The Temu seems like user growth has kind of plateaued.
That's what they're saying, but as we've said on the show dozens of times, I don't know what I believe when these Chinese companies say anything. So, don't know.
I got stopped out of it. Done with it.
Listen, it was fun while it lasted.
It was great while it lasted.
My suspicion is it will last. It will last again.
Out of Tal too. Looks
remember,
like
I wanted to buy a straddle on the PDD, and it was just too expensive. Well, here's why. So we just left it alone. I really liked the straddle trade here, but it was just too expensive. And then being long the straddle and then selling the wings. Like, remember, we actually walked through it together last week. It just wasn't there. Sometimes it's not there. Sometimes it's not a long or a short or a delta neutral trade. Sometimes it's just turn the page. And this was one of those, which is kind of a bummer because directionally we've been right. The problem is the volatility element of that changes the dynamics tremendously because the market's not dumb. So there's that, right?
I mean, we've been scratching our head, maybe not scratching our head, but just sort of acknowledging how large this company has gotten in the last few months. I mean, it has trounced. Alibaba was the largest company in China for a decade, right? And
they're off.
PDD just overtook them.
Does the show hear the bells going off?
It might. Yeah.
We don't know.
We don't know. Do you guys hear the bells going off at 9:30, like the ones that just went off? Can I get a yes on the chat?
Yeah, they should.
Or no?
They can't really hear the sound effects either.
They can't hear the sound effects?
That's because
you said they hear it. They said they hear it.
They can't hear them well.
No?
Your sound
We're not doing it right. It's supposed to it's picking it up.
They don't hear that?
Our mics. It's supposed to just go straight onto the.
Hold on, they don't hear that. Do you guys hear the clapping? They say they hear it very well.
But it's not piped in directly to your computer, so your mic is picking it up, which is why.
Are you understanding?
The audio quality is not ideal there. So
I don't know. They seem to like everything loud and clear. No, they're lying to us. Are they lying to us? Are they just?
Let's talk about this hot corner real fast. We've teased it enough times today. And we have, like we said, an interesting name, a name that we don't usually see in the hot corner. And I want an explanation. I demand an explanation as to how this name got in the hot corner today. So
hit it.
Here we go.
Hot corner. So hot right now.
All right.
The clapping is too many decibels. How about now?
Yeah, the clapping was loud.
Is that better?
That's better.
Is that better? All right. That's better.
It's just super low quality. All right. Big
Really?
13G filings from ARK Investment Management. We talk about them a lot on here. So this is for, could be any number of their funds, but most of these are for ARK Genomics, ARKG, which is one of my favorite pools of stocks to kind of look through. Most of these don't look great, but I do want to talk about some that are looking pretty good. So for the most part, nothing too crazy. They are increasing their stakes in a number of these. I own a lot of Twist Biosciences, so let's start there. This is one of my favorite biotechs right now. You want the ones that have the completed reversal patterns, just like any other stock that we've been buying since last year or even 2022 now. When the base is complete, great. Are we going to throw up the Twist chart?
Nope. Where's Twist? There it is.
Base is in. You see the 200-day moving average flattening, curling higher. You got a short-term continuation pattern, this nice little coil taking place right at the anchored VWAP from the late 2021 high. I think you could buy resolution of this little range here. Let's look at another one. DNA. Scrounging around on the lows. This is Ginkgo Bioworks, right? Notice the difference. It's a very different trade. If you want, you can buy the range lows and something like this, but you really want to give this one
How
time.
small is this? How small is this?
It's big enough. You really want to give this one time to work out some sort of a bottom here. Be comfortable that the primary trend has shifted before you get involved over any sort of longer time frame. Then just the new one we got to talk about. There was one new addition to the fund. That's the RX, I believe. Not bad. Not bad, right? This base looks close. Just under $15. Probably completes it. So that's how we kind of want to think about these patterns. So some of these are close. Twist already resolved. And then there's one more non-ARK name. I think this was RA Capital. They've been pretty active in the biotech space recently. EWTX, Edgewise. This one's been an absolute ripper. Yeah, Teladoc doesn't look good. So Edgewise, EWTX, right? That's what we want them to look like. A nice completed base. We know where we're wrong. We know where we're out. Just above, whatever, double digits here, 10 and change. And you look to the relative trend. Okay. Also, primary trend reversal, right? We can count on this one leading in the future. So EWTX probably looks as good as any of these.
Yeah, Baker Bros name, right, Strazza?
I don't think so.
Jonathan in the chats mentioning that it was being accumulated by Baker Bros. I think he's right. Yeah, I think he's right.
I thought it was RA. Let me double check real quick.
Baker Bros owns multiple biotech stocks. I don't know if you heard there, Strazza.
Tell me more about Baker Bros, please. Yeah.
Anyway, just to put a bow on the ARK thing, this is a 13G. We don't normally see ARK Invest in the hot corner. Is it just they don't normally own more than 5 and less than 10% of a company?
What do you mean? We see them all the time.
What?
Not like this. We don't.
ARK?
Do we see ARK all the time?
Yeah.
Maybe I just all right.
Right,
Yeah.
Strazza, Mike. Yeah, we see them all the time.
Yeah, you see them quite often. We don't always put them in because a lot of times you'll see it's just an increase from 10% to 10.5%, and they tend to file them all at the same time, right?
Right. All right.
She's very active. I don't know if you've noticed.
I have noticed.
So I don't see EWTX with the Baker Bros.
It came up. EWTX did come up. It may have been another filing by somebody else. Jonathan, I remember as well.
Oh, here we go. They own 0.02%. Yeah, so really not material, and it looks.
It must have popped up because somebody else was in. Because it definitely popped up.
They own $6 million worth. It's very, very small, but yes, they do have a tiny bit. All right, cool.
It's probably not a bad thing if they own a little bit, but is it a bad thing because they only own a little bit?
You kind of want to get on board the one that they're accumulating, and I think Madrigal, MDGL, potentially could be that. Rhythm, RYTM, Immunocore, which we've talked about a lot, IMCR, Repligen or Replimune, REPL. These are some more recent ones. But they really, dude, they're concentrated. So their fund right now, 2 stocks make up about half the fund. Then the next one is, 10%. So top 3 holdings, really the top 5 holdings get you 70%. of their AUM. And then everything else is percent here, percent there, really small stuff. So you want to focus on the ones that they're really going heavy into, because that was the playbook for how we got involved in whatchamacallit. Oh God, now it's going to escape me. The one that just got by
Yeah,
five.
the one that just got
Seattle Genetics, CGen.
IMCR. Was that Israeli?
IMCR.
So this thing needs to hold in here today. Kind of shaken back to my level. Did they have earnings or something, Spencer?
Why is this not coming up? IMCR.
They had, what is this?
Down
That
7%
is,
today.
yeah, I guess it is. I guess it is earnings. Or yeah, they did last night? Last night. Senior note offering or convertible note offering as well to go with it. But yeah.
So
British. It's not Israeli. It's British.
So let's see how that shakes out. This IMCR candle, 67.50 is really my level. We shaken just below it here this morning. I have a feeling this damage might get repaired pretty quickly, and that's a solid entry. That's super actionable. Here on strength back out of that range. That's all I got. Biotech, big biotech day on the hot corner.
All right, look, as always, the Hot Corner is a free daily note. We send it every single morning. The link to get it is in the description on YouTube. I'll put it on the screen now, but you'd probably much rather, click on it. And so there's the link. But again, click on it in the description below and get the Hot Corner for free every day. All right. 9:38. Let's do a quick rundown, JC. I'm seeing it's like a Christmas tree out there. Some green, some red.
You want me to do a little market rundown?
Yeah, I mean just a little bit.
Listen, in my experience, there's nothing wrong with some stocks going up and some stocks going down.
Yeah, I didn't say there was.
I didn't say you did. I'm just saying, in my experience, there's nothing wrong with some stocks going up and some stocks going down. You got Dow futures, pretty much flat, down 40 points. S&P futures flat. NASDAQ futures pretty much flat, down 17 basis points. 30-year bond futures up 60 bips. That's pretty good. Silver flat, copper flat, gold up 1%, oil up 0.5%. And the dollar slipping this morning with the volatility index hanging out just under 14. The U.S. 10-year yield just above 4%, below 4.1%, where it's kind of been hanging out. And then just a quick rundown in the cryptocurrencies. Bitcoin up 100 points, 43,400. Ethereum flat on the day, just above 2,300. And then the old Solana up 3%, up to 105. And total crypto market cap back above 1.6 trillion. Not nothing.
On an equal weight basis, sea of red today, but financials continue to stand out with this resilience. So financials on an equal weight basis slightly higher today. Actually, my equal weight index is making new all-time highs. And the strength beneath, the subgroup strength is financial data and stock exchanges being driven in large part by MSCI, which
I was going to tell you. Do you know why that is? Yes, it is MSCI.
Yeah.
Yep.
My indexes are equal weighted. But yes, MSCI definitely contributing with an 8.5% move here this morning. Banks also green, insurance, reinsurance leading, credit services looking good. Again, capital markets strong. So I'm liking what I see from financials. Liking this from financials. The bases more or less remained intact despite the stealth correction of the past 5 or 6 weeks.
Yeah, you could really see it in the equally weighted financials, RSPF, really consolidating and now taking off last week, right?
Super micro straight down since the open. Not saying that means anything. I'm just commenting.
Yep.
Yeah. So again, when you go from 300 to 560 in what, a week? Yeah. So
Nick wants to know more about the intelligent investor as a technician. So back in the day, Edwards and McGee and Ben Graham would hang out at the local pub down on Wall Street, and they would talk about technical analysis, and they would draw charts on napkins and stuff like that.
And
None of
then
that-
Ben
none of that is
Graham
true.
wrote Ben Graham wrote the Bible for fundamental analysis.
None of that is true.
These cybersecurity stocks just won't stop. Strongest group right now.
Hey, yes, that is true. You know what I haven't mentioned for a while, but don't look now. Some of these pot stocks looking squeezy.
Oh fuck.
Ooh, squeezy, lemon squeezy.
A little bit. If you look at the MSOS,
How come Tilray didn't get the memo?
No, the MSOS is where you want to be. Not to forget the Tilray. That's crap. So MSOS is pretty tough.
I love how the guy telling me that MSOS looks good has the audacity to tell me something else is crap.
Hey, wine go up. So
For once,
Does it?
looks like
yeah.
a rounding error more like than going up.
Hey, I'm just saying a couple of these components of the MSOS are looking squeezy the past couple weeks.
So this
That's all I'm saying.
so these sports betting stocks. I know we talked about Flutter a little bit yesterday.
How did Flutter do yesterday? All right, whatever. One day.
You know what Flutter did yesterday? Shined a big old light on DraftKings. And DraftKings is getting a lot more buzz than Flutter out here. Have you heard all these?
Something happened off the open there. I'm not sure what, but DraftKings was wild in the first half hour of the day. I don't really know.
Let me tell you what it was.
Oh yeah, please.
There was a handful of notes circulating. All of them comparing valuation metrics between the two companies. And a lot of these metrics, DraftKings, despite having just passed FanDuel in terms of market share, right? And they're moving in one direction, while FanDuel is kind of moving in the opposite direction. FanDuel, on a lot of these metrics, almost twice as expensive as DraftKings. So it's a little bit of arb there. And the market's saying either Flutter's got to come down or DraftKings got to go up because the other one should actually have the higher valuation. So that's why you got that big stick. Throw up the DraftKings chart. I mean, this one's working even better than we hoped it would, since we talked about it, 2 weeks ago, getting in at 34.50.
Yeah.
I rolled my calls last week. Probably roll them again this week. Keeps working. Why not? But DraftKings, I think, just steadily keeps marching higher and higher. I think we're heading back to those old highs.
So somebody was talking about the other day, yesterday, I think, one of the Andreessen, one of the guys at Andreessen, one of the VC analyst guys there. And his thought was like, okay, Kansas City wins the Super Bowl. Kelsey proposes to Taylor Swift on the stage getting the Super Bowl trophy, right?
And then everybody claps.
And then the bull market just rages on like that, like just kicks off, another just year of record returns.
Okay.
Do we have to just, yeah. They're going to ruin, yeah. Usually media week is like so fun, right? The players are doing their interviews and stuff. It's just going to be ruined by this Taylor Swift nonsense. And what did you guys think about before the game?
What?
These antics from Kelsey and Mahomey.
I'm very glad that I don't know what you're talking about, and I like it that way.
I thought it was fun. As a baseball player, we're always up to silly antics, so I like that sort of thing. It's all in good fun. Nobody gets hurt,
It didn't look like anybody was joking.
It's one of those, like, they're not joking, but they are, but like, haha, we got you, like, it's serious, but it's joke. Like, yeah, it's like baseball shit,
You're
like
picking on a kicker, guys.
That's
big man.
I don't care about that.
Yeah, but what if Mahomes would have tripped over his helmet and stuff like that? That would have been bad news. So I'm with Kelsey on that one.
I thought the space was shared.
Yeah, but you got to protect your quarterback from tripping over the stupid kicker's freaking helmet that's just sitting there in the middle of the end zone.
What if the kicker's there first? Go somewhere else.
I don't know how it works. I'm all for it. I'm good with it. I'm good with it. Like antics like that, shenanigans, I'm all for it. It's all good.
Yeah.
Hey, how about SoFi holding on to those gains yesterday? Nice day for SoFi. And then just to put a bow on the conversation from last week, I think Thursday or probably Friday. I was asking about Intel. Just very interesting to see, what wins, shitty guidance or recent uptrend, and the answer is shitty guidance. That wins. So Intel just stopped in its tracks. Unfortunately, if you own Intel, which I don't know, I don't, but yeah. So that caught my eye, and then SoFi holding on to its gains also caught my eye yesterday. Thought those are both interesting. I could probably get talked into SoFi above $10, but
ASML, TSM, more than holding those gap and goes.
Yeah,
More than holding.
Yeah,
All-time-
I mean,
all-time-
market
all-time
opened
high.
17 minutes ago, so let them dance.
But
all-time
you're
high.
right. You're right, Spencer. They want you to focus on Intel. They definitely want you to focus.
Who's
on
they?
You know who they are.
All-time high for ASML is 895. So we're getting there.
The banks, guys. These banks. Hey now, JP Morgan, getting it done. Big move.
If it's only if it's only technology stocks that are driving this market, how is where does JP Morgan making all-time highs fit into that like serial killer thesis? Caterpillar all-time highs. Like, I don't understand.
I'm so tired of this. What do you want me to say at this point? I don't know. I get it. I hear you.
I just don't understand. Like, are they? I can't imagine that they're stupid, because I don't think these people are. So it's either they're actually not taking the time to look.
Well, they're
or-
busy. They're doing
or they're
other
just
things.
smart, or they're lying.
It's not their job to. They're not looking as hard as maybe we are. Obviously, right? It's not their job.
I like what Shamath said the other day, that the truth is a commodity, right? So journalists are no longer incentivized by telling the truth,
I love
right? Because it's just a commodity. So they're either lying or sensationalizing just to keep their jobs.
Yep.
It's bad. It's bad.
I-
So these journalists get paid shit. Good. Get paid less.
Jesus.
Man. No, I think it's just there's so much noise. It's like finding the truth. It's like cutting a needle in a haystack. Right?
It's commoditized. The truth.
difficult.
I saw a clip of that podcast the other day. I thought it was spot on. We see it all the time in finance. You see it in sports too, obviously, but it doesn't really bother me in sports. In finance, like, it hits home where I'm just like, who wrote this? Like, did they even look before they wrote this?
Also, a really sweet note out yesterday, which I missed. Sorry. Uber bullish note on Uber, and it was titled "From Stonk to Stock." And the whole point of the analyst note.
Who's from? Do you know?
Bernstein? It was Bernstein.
Bernstein.
Anyway,
All right.
I think as Uber's breaking out to new all-time highs, they're pointing out this is now a real business, right? It used to be a story stock. They had a nice growth story, sounded good, but we didn't really see it in the numbers when they had first come public. Now, the fundamentals at this company are as good as any company, literally in the S&P 500, for the price that you're paying. Uber is still incredibly cheap compared to its growth stock peers, right? It's valued as an industrial. Valued as a transportation stock. JC's always, is it a software stock? Is it a transport? It's valued as a transport, but you could argue it's software, right? So this is still a great story. Nice to see the analyst community come around 12 months later. We were talking about this early last year. Uber's fundamentals having turned, cash flow pot, they're cash cow now. So the analyst community is really just going to keep piling on this name. I think the runway here for Uber is just beautiful. We could look back and talk about Uber as one of the top stocks in 2024. No doubt.
I want to have a longer recess today because I have something important that I want to talk about with the two of you fellas.
Let's
You
do
need
the
10 minutes? You need 10 minutes?
Let's do the chart report real fast. Pat can't make it. He was traveling, but let's do the chart report quickly, and then we'll do recess.
Where's he going? Are the boys going to Tampa Bay? I couldn't make it to Tampa Bay. There's a CMT event out there
in Tampa.
Yeah, I believe Ian is going. Also, at least that.
Really?
Yeah, I felt bad.
Cool.
I can't do back-to-back travel weeks. I know it's not for me, you know. So
It's
I can't
Tampa. You're not missing anything. It's
can't
Tampa.
get
Bro.
home and then get right back on a plane. It's just I can't do it.
Isn't
You're
Tampa
fine.
like the strip club capital of America? Like,
So
I've never been to Tampa, but it's just
strip
what I've
club
heard.
capital, I don't know, but isn't it St. Petersburg, home of the first Hooters? Fun fact.
So in high school, I think we were sophomores, and we were traveling to Tampa to go play Tampa Jesuit and Tampa Catholic. And first thing the coaches do is, don't leave the hotel, don't go to bars, don't go to the strip clubs across the street. So of course, the first thing we do is we go to the strip clubs across the street in the middle of the night, and who do we run into? All the coaches.
Oh, you coach. Great.
But they weren't allowed to be there either, for the record. So that was good time.
Yeah.
All right.
Clearwater. That's right. Right next to it.
So Larry Thompson with the chart of the day, showing FANG stocks making new highs relative to the S&P, like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ryan Dietrich, as January goes, so goes the rest of the year. If they come into the year buying, they're probably going to keep buying. If they come into the year and they're not buying, they're probably not going to be buying later in the year. That's something we've noticed. Ryan Dietrich, nice chart there. Shout out, Mr. Dietrich. Keep the details to ourselves because this is a private event, Spencer and Strazza. I don't even think I've told him about it. Strazza's flying up on February the 22nd. We're going to hang out with Dietrich, actually. And Spencer, you are invited also.
Oh, great. Thanks.
I'm in and out. 24 hours. Boom, boom.
By the way, I'm a little bit upset I wasn't the chart of the day. This chart deserved to be. This chart is better than Thompson's. No?
Leave Larry alone.
That's just like
I love Larry, but
that's your opinion, man.
I love Larry. This is a better chart. I'm going to have to take this up with the board. This is unacceptable. This deserved to be the chart of the day.
Your baby.
I'm a baby. You disagree? That was the chart of the day.
I don't think too much about it.
Honestly, I'm a little bit disappointed. I'm gonna have to submit what is it when you don't like what is it?
Complaint
like a
form?
complaint. I'm gonna file a complaint.
You know what we do with those at the chart report?
Put them in the wastebasket. All right, guys, just at the hot corner, chart report, also a free daily note, the link to which is also in the description. Funny how that works out. Get it? Got it? Good.
Let's hear this recess. I'm excited for this recess.
It was inspired by Spencer, actually.
Oh,
this can't be good.
All right, so this comes from Spencer. It was inspired last week at the Portfolio Accelerator where we all sat down at dinner and somebody brought this up and said, if you could have dinner with 3 dead people, what would they be? I thought that was fascinating because I started thinking about it myself.
It was Brett Conrad's wife brought that up. Yeah.
Yeah. So what was your answer, Spencer? So you dinner with 3 dead people.
Yeah.
All at the same time or separate occasions? Because that's also a thing.
That wasn't clear. My answers were Alex Trebek, Charles Dow as the father of financial media, and who was my third person? I don't even remember who I said. That's not a good sign. Alex Trebek was like the first obvious one, like that duh. Of course.
Are you a big Jeopardy fan?
Love Jeopardy. Yeah. Alex Trebek, Charles Dow, and then
you ever get any answers right?
Of course. I'm good at trivia. I know a lot of random stuff.
All right. That's cool.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Steve Jobs. That was it, actually. Thank you, T-Man. Yeah, no one else said Steve Jobs somehow. So anyway, that's who I got. Anyway,
Strazza?
I would need to think about this. Steve Jobs would probably be up there. Would probably be some music guys on there. I would have to think hard about which one.
Okay,
and probably, honestly, probably Kobe Bryant.
Oh, I think someone said
Kobe's a good one.
That's a good one. That's a really good one. Damn.
I got Babe Ruth. I got Babe Ruth on my list. Right?
Yeah, that's a good one.
So I got Babe Ruth on my list. I got Charlie Dow. Shout out, Spencer. I got Charlie Dow. And I got Leonardo Fibonacci on that as well. And then honorable mention for a fourth. Honorable mentions? Anybody? I got a good one for honorable
I'm
mention.
definitely hijacking Kobe Bryant. That's going on my list. That's bumping Charles Dow. Sorry, Charles Dow, but Kobe Bryant.
Dude, you know who a good one would be to hang out, have a couple beers, and listen to some stories? Ben Franklin. Woo! That dude used to party, man. That guy.
I think Sean said him. Someone said him.
Dude, Ben Franklin was a wild man. This guy would go to Europe and disappear for a couple of months and come back. Woo! We know what was going down out there.
Yeah, when he died, they found like bones in like in his house, in a room in his house, because the dude was into like anatomy and stuff, and I don't know.
Necrophilia?
Nothing dirty. Nothing. I think he was like it's like a science thing.
Oh yeah, Ben Franklin would definitely never did anything dirty.
Anyway, wait.
I hear otherwise. I want to hear some stories, dude. Ben Franklin was
okay.
All right, so that's my list. I thought that was fun. You didn't think that was fun?
I did. It's funny because like our table was like the only table we were all talking as one unit because we were all doing this one thing together. It was pretty fun. I enjoyed it. Good exercise. What is this picture you put in the deck here? And do I need to bring this up? What's going on?
Yeah, I thought this was funny. So Tom Brady just partnered up with some. Yeah, I think he was an investor in a couple of these companies. So now the Tom Brady brand is No Bull, which for Perma Bears, I thought that would be hilarious to just if Perma Bears had any money left and could afford T-shirts like this. Probably not cheap, these T-shirts, but I thought if you're a Perma Bear, this is a great T-shirt. No.
He looks like he has no body fat. Like look at his cheeks, man. He's got no.
It's sketchy though. It doesn't look good.
It doesn't. I've been saying that for years. It does not. You're right.
It's gross, dude. It looks like Drago from the Rocky movie. What are you doing, man? I don't know. Isn't he supposed to be like hanging out now and like playing more golf and not doing 2 days at the gym?
I don't know. Next year he's supposed to start calling football games for Fox, so we'll see.
Hold on. Here, this is a good one. You want to see a good Tom Brady picture? Here we go. Here, I'll drop it right now.
I guess.
Move the cheek fat.
No, this is good. We'll end the show with this little fun one.
I can't even tell if Josh is joking or not. I think he is, but it wouldn't surprise me.
I have no idea either. It's hilarious either way.
What?
They removed his cheek fat. It's plastic surgery.
Oh, here we go. So this is
yeah, I mean, he looks like I said, he looks like he has no body fat. He looks like a extremely low body fat percentage person. So
go to the new slide too, Spencer. We'll end the show there. I thought this was a great tweet by a great follow on Twitter. Super 70s Sports.
Yeah, they are.
Great follow on Twitter here. Everyone on the block agreed the lesbian couple who just moved into town was really nice. Hang on, I'm being told that's Tom Brady and his mom. Like, come on.
It looks like Tom Brady. It looks just
Tom
like
Brady when he was a little kid.
Yeah, that's great. That's a great picture. I love old pictures. I love old pictures. That's tremendous.
So that was a great tweet. Hilarious follow on Twitter, by the way. Super 70s Sports. Great follow on Twitter. So good.
That was the one about Manute Bol, right?
That was the same guy. How good was that?
Yep.
Come on. Such a good follow.
Noticeable strength from some of these tech stocks today. I got to just shout out HubSpot. Really interesting move on, I don't think, any news that I see. And Pinterest. Some of these social media names, Spotify, the past few weeks, now Pinterest. I think that probably bodes well for something like Snapchat.
I was going to say Snap. Quiet. Okay. All right. It's Tuesday, so we do Twitter Spaces with the chart report at 11 o'clock. That's in an hour from now. Also, Chart Request Live at 1.
Is it me and you today?
It'll be a surprise. We'll find out. Pat was at a wedding over the weekend for Izzy. Congratulations, our own Izzy, one of our behind-the-scenes video gurus.
Oh, they traveled for that?
Yeah, it was. I think it was it wasn't like a long ways away, but I think it was.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Shout out Izzy. Congratulations.
Congrats, Izzy, on the nuptials. And come back to work. We miss you.
Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. From here on out, Izzy. That's how it is.
All right, that's a wrap for us. Thanks to Jared Dillian. Thanks to all of you for hanging out in the chat. Give us a like. We'd appreciate that. Go make some money. We'll see you later.
Adios.
Bye, everybody.
I can't take no loss. I don't even know what it costs. I hit the ground, then it go off. Yeah, hit the ground, then it go off. Yeah, I can't take no loss. I don't even know what it